Hey folks, welcome back to our Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at Quest for Gaia. Quest for Gaia is brought to you by Open Door Games. It's for 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, and games range anywhere from 90 to 150 minutes. In the Quest for Gaia, you will take on the role of one of 5 galactic races. Now, this game also offers ways for you to create your own races, giving you all kinds of expandability and playability in this game. This is a big 4X game. You will be exploring the galaxy, finding new planets. You will be engaging in battles, trying to conquer and take over other worlds from other players or other races, and dealing in political intrigue, building contracts and covenants throughout the galaxy as you look for the ancient homeworld of Gaia, an ancient civilization that may tip the balance of power in your favor. All right, so there's a lot to do in this game, a lot to set up, a lot to go over. We're gonna give you more of an overview of the feel of this game. There's a ton of actions you can tap into, and you get to build out in the setup the galaxy. So in turn, you'll go around the table after everyone has picked their race, their player boards, got all their pieces. They will then build out this galaxy with your colored pieces around the central part of the galaxy where Gaia might be found. You never know where Gaia might be. And you will set up your player boards. Now there's all kinds of things to take note of on the player board. There's your major actions, your minor actions, where you'll put your resources for building ships, supplies, and iron, also fuel. There are all kinds of things going on here. But the main thing to know is that the core of the game is the actions. However, at the start, there's several phases we're going to go through, but there is a main player board that outlines all the technologies you might tap into, the scoring, and your major actions that you'll be tapping into. Now, it's important to note that these different races are very asymmetrical. So you may start with less actions or minor actions because your race is sickly. They also show where your starting technology is going to be. You might be starting with biology and xenology. So those are different ways that you can also start these tracks based on what race you're playing. The race cards also have very different things on them that you'll take note of as you even set up your player boards. But just know that it keeps the game very fresh based on what character or what race you are playing. Now during setup, along with your player boards and your races, you'll be getting some coins to start the game. And you'll have your homeworld along with 4 ships that will start on your homeworld. All the ships are denoted by these cubes as you travel across the galaxy. Now, a lot of the worlds all have different levels. You can level them up. It's one of your possible actions by paying coins to do so. And as you level them, you'll get different and better resources every round. So those are things to keep in mind as well. And there's a major action which we'll take a look at to allow you to explore the galaxy and find other worlds, and additionally upgrade them later. But again, you have to have control of a world in order to upgrade it and do all the things required and for you to get those amazing resources that you're going to need throughout the game. Now, along with your cubes as ships, there's also these amazing transports that you can haul multiple ships as you move across the galaxy, dropping them off as you move along the different paths on your way for conquest and glory. Now, phase 1 of the game is Upkeep. It's all about getting more resources back. As the game has progressed, this is the first part of how you get more resources based on worlds that you may have discovered or worlds that you may have taken over. And this is also the phase where you'll gain coins or crystals, things of that nature. The thing about crystals, which is neat, is that crystals, as you acquire them, if you look at your player board, it allows you to convert crystals into other types of resources as well. So those are some things you definitely want to look for as you expand and move across the galaxy, different ways to get more resources. It's really key in this game, like with a lot of 4X games, but that really does make a huge difference because you have to have enough resources to manage the amount of ships that you have out in the galaxy, or you're going to start losing ships. So these are very important steps in this first phase, and of course, as the game progresses, you'll see that this phase becomes more and more important. Now, phase 2 of the game is all about politics. You're going to take a look at the politics offering that have been dealt out. You deal 7 cards. Now, there's some confusion cards here. Those are just going to be ignored. but the players are going to use their votes to vote in a new chancellor. Now, there might be reasons that you want someone else to be chancellor other than yourself, but you are trying to get the most votes here in order to be the chancellor, because one of the ways to gain points in this game is to be first player or chancellor, because you'll move 2 points up on the track, which goes around the main player board here. But there are definitely reasons to not be the first player or chancellor, because later in the game there are cards that are going to come up that you're going to be tapping into or drawing that you will draw last as the chancellor. So there are definitely benefits here, but again, this is one of the ways to get points. So there is, much like a lot of the game, a lot of choices to be made. Is this a good moment to do this? Or should I hold off and vote someone else in so I can get better cards later? All right, so now we're at the heart of the game. It's all about the actions. There's 2 different types. You have minor actions and you have major actions. The major actions are all outlined on the main player board that you all will be using. Now, the minor are just like you might think. Simple things like moving across the galaxy with your ships. You know, you got to have the fuel to do so. That's another reason that these big carriers might come into play, because you can move multiple ships with less fuel. And then you have build. You have to have the iron to do it, but you can build ships and put them on worlds that you control. Not all worlds allow you to place ships on them, but some do. As well as your home world, you can build ships there, but you have to have the iron resources to do so. Now, attacking is another minor action. And you'll be doing this a lot probably through the game. You're going to be going up against your opponent. You're going to, it's very simple calculation. See whoever has the most ships is going to win. They're going to do 2 points of damage. Whoever has the least does 1 point back. And so ships get eliminated and each player gets to decide which ships are removed. Now, this is crucial because it's not just about taking over a planet or something of that nature. You'd want to win battles because for every battle you win, you get a point along the track on your way to victory. So it is another way to gather points. And finally, you can upgrade worlds. And why do you do this? Well, it might give you more minor actions, but it also, really key here, gives you more resources that you can work with throughout the game. So you definitely want to keep an eye on the planets that you find, and we'll take a look at how you find them in a minute. But upgrading them really is key. We played a couple games and we didn't even upgrade our homeworlds right away. I would suggest you do that immediately. Upgrading homeworlds really helped a ton in the later games that we played. Now let's take a look at the major actions. This is where you'll take your large token and place it out on the board, actually activating that major action, but preventing others from doing so. So being chancellor, being first player is key here for that type of thing as well. Not only for points. So the first thing we look at is revolt. Take a look at revolt. That's all about changing your government alignment. There are things that we'll look at next that could possibly throw your government into anarchy. So you may want to change it or just change it up because the benefits are better for the different governments. Again, lots of choices in this game. And then covenant. So covenant is all about drawing covenant cards. And as an example, we'll take a look at these 2. We have trade and star charts, which we haven't looked at star charts yet, which is really cool. Take a look at that. But trade, you'll be trading to the colored player. You'll be trading them some credits, gaining victory points for you. Or star charts. Star charts are cool because you'll give this player a star chart. And if you look at the top of your player board, there are star charts that you get to activate when you land on them when you're out on the main board. However, in a covenant, you can get this benefit right away. And at the end of the round, if you have done this, if you have star charts, you only get to do them once, but you'll get the benefit. You know, you'll get credits or crystals, different resources, things of that nature. So you want to really get those star charts if possible throughout the game. But again, covenants are all about making that covenant with other players. So this is kind of another fun part of the game where you have to make some interesting choices like, oh, do I help them out? But it also helps me out, things like that. So if you happen to draw a color that is your own, then you get to pick the target to receive that. But the thing is that if you fail to do your covenant before your next major action, then you're going to throw your government into anarchy. Next, let's take a look at market. So the market is all about getting coins. You're going to place resources into the market at the furthest left point of that particular type, be it fuel or whatever you're putting up here. Now, if there's someone already there, you're going to push them to the right. They're going to get less credits per round and potentially push someone out completely if you want to stop them from getting credits. So this is just a market, ever evolving marketplace. Again, a choice to be made throughout the game. Now we're moving to campaign. Campaign is about putting your top influence card into the voter. You're trying to get more votes to be chancellor, essentially. And then we're going to take a look at espionage. You have a couple choices here in espionage. You can either just wipe out a ship anywhere in the galaxy. Doesn't matter if it's a carrier or just a cube, a single ship. Or you can copy a technology someone is already exploring. You have to do it in order, but you can copy them for free in order to gain that technology. And of course, you must have at least a single ship somewhere within the range of their planet in order to engage in that espionage to copy their technology. And then we have research. Research is awesome because that's how you tap into all these different technologies. You can be researching up to 2 technologies at any one time, but it costs you credits for each level of the technology that you acquire. Now, this is another way to get points. If you finish the track on these different technologies, you're going to get 3 points. And you have your main things here like attack and defense, engines to help you move across the galaxy, things of that nature. But these really do help throughout the game, so you need to keep an eye on these for sure. All right, now we're going to take a look at the big action, the one that you're going to be using probably quite a bit. And 2 different players can activate this action. It is Explore. The A, though, gives you the ability to pull 2 planets from the bag. You're going to pick one and discard the other from the game. You place the planet out into the galaxy. It has to be at least 2 hexes away from a planet that you already control. However, as the galaxy tightens up and spots are limited, then you can place it wherever there's an available spot. But initially, you really need to expand the galaxy as you explore. Now, if you place it on the B spot, well, then you still get to explore, but you only get to pull 1 planet out of the bag. And now we're on the end phase. This is all about discovery, really. There's a couple other things we'll take a look at, but discovery, these cards will have been dealt based on the number of players in the game. Now, you as the Chancellor, this is where a detriment. You will get to pick from these cards last, which might mean you end up with an encounter with one of these baddies. So yeah, being Chancellor isn't always the best move. So you will go in turn order with Chancellor being last and pick cards. Now there's benefits here, there's good things and there's bad things, so that's all to keep in mind. But these are cards that are going to help you throughout the game. Now you also have to check your supply level. If you don't have enough supplies to supply all the ships you have scattered throughout the galaxy, you're going to start losing ships. And then if you have control points in the galaxy where you have ships left that have a scoring mechanism, you'll see it here around the hex, then you'll get a point for that. And so that will bring the round to an end, and you'll continue this way until you hit either 14, 22, or 30 points, declaring the winner. Now, let's take a look at Gaia. Now remember the star charts that we talked about earlier? Well, you need to find 3 of those in order to triangulate the position of Gaia. Gaia will then end up in the center of the galaxy, but only those who have found 3 star charts will know that. And again, remember, the star charts do give you a benefit when you discover them. But Gaia, if you can hold and control Gaia with enough ships, again, using attacking, things of that nature, and again, using your potential tech tree to be more powerful than the other players, you can control Gaia. Gaia gives you an extra major action as well as crystals as resources. So it's a super powerful world to gain control of. And so the game comes to an end when either you've reached 14, 22, or 30 points, depending on the length of game that you've chosen. And this game, like I've said so many times through this video, there are multiple ways to get points. So it depends on your choices and how you build out your civilization, but you can do it through covenants. You can do it through your tech trees, which is really nice because it not only does it give you points, but it gives you better abilities. And of course, attacking, winning those battles gives you points. Holding strategic positions out in the galaxy will give you points as well. And being the Chancellor is another great way to get points. Lots of choices here. So the player with the most is going to win the game. Oh, and don't forget, there are points for winning these encounters against these giant monsters. Alright folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview. Everything you've seen here has been in prototype form, so keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now with that said, this truly is that big 4X game experience. And it does play pretty quickly. I like how quick the actions move and so forth. And again, how many choices and options you have, which is something you expect from a 4X, but they did a nice job here. I really like how the minor versus the major actions work, really works well throughout the game. Alright folks though, if this looks like something that would be of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it for me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando, in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.